Chip stocks fall further after Trump's remarks on Taiwan defense. Semiconductor and related tech shares hit hard by former U.S. president's calls for Taipei to pay for U.S. protection. Chip stocks fall further after Trump's remarks on Taiwan defense. Semiconductor and related tech shares hit hard by former U.S. president's calls for Taipei to pay for U.S. protection. Business Live. Latest updates. Jack Simpson 2. 18 July 2024. 1050 BST share. The stocks of some of the world's largest chip makers have fallen further after comments by Donald Trump that Taiwan, which is central to the global industry, should pay for its own defenses against China. Shares in semiconductor and related tech companies had already plunged on Wednesday after the former president's comments, as well as a report that suggested Joe Biden's administration was considering the strictest controls on the trade of chips to China. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSMC, the world's largest contract chip maker, fell by 2.4% on Thursday. That followed a 7% fall the previous day when Trump questioned why the U.S. was acting as Taiwan's insurance when he claimed it had taken away America's chip business. On Wednesday, the U.S.'s tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite Index had its worst day since December 2022, falling 2.8%. After an unconfirmed Bloomberg report suggested Biden was considering introducing the most severe restrictions on companies if they continued to give China access to semiconductor technology. It said the U.S. president was considering whether to impose a measure called the Foreign Direct Product Rule, which would allow the U.S. to impose controls on foreign-made products that use even tiny amounts of U.S. technology. That would have a particular impact on companies such as ASML, the Dutch manufacturer of machines used to produce microchips, and Japan's Tokyo Electron, which some in the U.S. government believe are giving China too much access to their advanced semiconductor technology. Tokyo Electron shares fell by 8.8% on Thursday, while the Japanese precision tools maker Disco Corp sank by 8.8%, and Lasertech, which makes equipment for inspecting for defects in computer chips, shed 6.3%. Shares at ASML fell by a further 2% in the early hours of trading on Thursday, after an 11% plunge the previous day. The U.S. chip maker NVIDIA was also caught up in the market slide, falling by 6% on Wednesday. The comments by Trump, who is the favorite to win the U.S. presidential race in November, indicate that military support for Taiwan in the event of action from China would not be guaranteed if he re-entered the White House. Commenting on China's aggression towards its neighbor, Trump said he wouldn't feel too secure if he were Taiwan. He said the U.S. was no different than an insurance company, suggested Taipei should be paying the U.S. to defend it, and claimed Taiwan doesn't give us anything. Taiwan produces more than 90% of the world's most advanced chips, mostly through TSMC, and is a big supplier to Apple and NVIDIA. The country's premier, Cho Jung-tai, said on Wednesday he was grateful to the U.S. for its support, and that Taiwan was working hard to maintain the relationship while also increasing its self-defense capabilities. This article was amended on 18 July 2024. An earlier version incorrectly described ASML as a chip maker. Rather, it manufactures the machines used to make chips. This is what we're up against: teams of lawyers from the rich and powerful trying to stop us publishing stories they don't want you to see. Lobby groups with opaque funding who are determined to undermine facts about the climate emergency and other established science. Authoritarian states with no regard for the freedom of the press. Bad actors spreading disinformation online to undermine democracy. But we have something powerful on our side. We've got you. The Guardian is funded by its readers, and the only person who decides what we publish is our editor. If you want to join us in our mission to share independent global journalism to the world, we'd love to have you on side. If you can, please support us on a monthly basis. It takes less than a minute to set up, and you can rest assured that you're making a big impact every single month in support of open, independent journalism. Thank you.
This competition, it's only going to heat up in the coming years, putting even more pressure on chip prices and profits. So when you're looking at chip stocks, Don't just focus on the headlines about Taiwan. Pay attention to the fundamentals too, earnings reports, industry trends, and the overall economic climate. Remember, even in a volatile market, knowledge is power. Section 6, the bottom line, brace for volatility. Here's the bottom line, folks. The chip sector, it's in for a bumpy ride. Trump's comments about Taiwan, they've just injected a whole new level of uncertainty into the market. We're talking about a perfect storm of geopolitical tensions, supply chain vulnerabilities, and economic headwinds. What does this mean for you? Buckle up and get ready for volatility. Chip stocks, they could swing wildly in the coming months as investors react to every headline and earnings report. This isn't the time to be faint of heart, but remember, volatility can also create opportunities. Keep your cool, do your homework, and look for companies with strong fundamentals that are well positioned to weather the storm. And most importantly, don't panic. Stay informed, stay invested, and remember, in the long run, the market always climbs that wall of worry.